Hello, and welcome to the First Friday Recap, the place where you can catch up on all the highlights from last First Friday. Missed out on the action? Don't worry, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Christina Hampton, and I will be taking you through a recap of our September First Friday Nintendo Night. Let's celebrate our love of the video game system that brought us hours and hours of 8-bit gaming fun and check out some highlights. To kick off this First Friday, we had an 8-bit jam session at our Energy stage with our musical Tesla coil playing some classic video game music. At the end of the session, a surprise guest showed up at the Energy stage during the Pokemon theme song. There was live First Friday trivia at the Energy stage, all about Nintendo, Nintendo games, the history of the home video game console, and more. Our live action game for the night was our own version of Duck Hunt, where guests went searching in our Grove gallery for actual ducks. Well, the little yellow rubber kind, but not as easy to find as you might think. Several local artists and crafters were back, with so many awesome Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Kirby, Yoshi, Mega Man, Ninja Turtles merch, and more to satisfy your every Nintendo crave. Once again, we welcome back Dancakes, who made our Nintendo pancake dreams come true. Our pal Pikachu was all over the place, roaming around the building and taking pictures with guests, but also as the star in our First Friday movie, Detective Pikachu in the Omnimax. And it wouldn't be Nintendo Night at the Science Center if we didn't actually play Nintendo games. In our Game XP gallery, we had teams compete on our giant NES controller to see who could get the farthest through Super Mario Bros. The winners won a prize, artwork provided by our friends from Art Monkey World. We also gave guests a chance to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the giant screen in our Omnimax theater just for fun. But things got more competitive with the esports Super Smash Bros. Tournament in Dino Den on the lower level, where players battled it out all night long. The action was streamed live on our Twitch channel.
I have to find the answer to this stock fast, because you do not want to be down, especially against a Yoshi who's playing this in your face. You're bound to take some percent here, and so Shadow's going to need an answer, and fast.
Our special presentation for the night was a Q&A discussion with software engineers from Riot Games, creators of League of Legends and Valorant. They talked with guests all through the event at their table about Riot, but during the Q&A they answered more specific questions on how they got into the video game industry and some of the projects that they're working on now. The audience was also able to hear from Scott Gelb, Chief Operating Officer at Riot Games, from a virtual interview that he had done with us earlier in the week.
I'd say if there's one thing that I could just kind of really reinforce with folks is that if you're passionate about games and want to make them, the most impactful developers I've seen are the ones that really care about players and prioritize the player experience holistically as their number one priority. And really, for a lot of people who love games, that seems pretty common sense. Well, of course, that's what I'm going to think about. But honestly, when it comes down to it, we also are all very passionate about our crafts. We're passionate about engineering. We're passionate about art and drawing and animation and all the things that come into game development. Those things are extremely important. But a lot of times for people, those can take the number one position for them over actually developing the great game experience. So if I can impart one thing, it would be always keep the players as your number one priority, as your North Star. And that will help guide you through a lot of decisions and situations where maybe it might be a little ambiguous, or it could be easy to go in the other direction where, hey, you get to learn that new thing and it's really cool, but it might not be the best thing for players of your game. So that would be the number one.
Finally, we ended the night with a panel discussion on esports in St. Louis. Coaches from local high school and university esports teams joined us to share about gaming and esports opportunities in our region.
I think everyone up here was probably playing esports before esports was really a thing. Our founder started UGC in 2005, and that was back in the day of like the CRT TVs, Xboxes. We didn't even have internet connections back then, to the fact where we could just LAN with our friends. And I think specifically, people used to say the internet was going to be a fad. And I think that specifically with esports and with COVID, when there was no basketball or baseball or hockey, where did all of these brands put their marketing dollars? Right into esports. They see the data. They know where it's heading. And that's why we're in this space right now, because we have such an ability to impact while everyone is just on the sidelines.
So 4 or 5 years ago, I was working with a different school, and there was a student who felt very, very passionate. He found out that esports was a thing, and he was super excited. And he knew that I played video games, and he said, "If I do a proposal for an esports team, will you sponsor it?" And I said, "Yes, of course I will." And so he did all the research. We presented to the AD, and the AD didn't even, like, at the end of the presentation said, "Yeah, sorry, there's no future in this." 4 years later, I mean, obviously there's a future in it.
Well, that's all for this First Friday recap. If you missed this First Friday, join us next month for our Nightmare Before Christmas First Friday on October 1st. What's this? What's this? There's magic everywhere. What's this? What's this? First Friday comes to scare. If you love Tim Burton, Halloween, Jack Skellington, and Sandy Claus, then this First Friday is for you. That's right, Bone Daddy. This is Halloween, and we will be back again in the evening from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. First Fridays are back, y'all, and you don't want to miss them.